Okay, I'm back. We're gonna head over to get some tea, but the good news is the car is in very good condition. They said the car is great. I mean, it's still gonna cost whatever it costs for the 120,000, but it's in good shape. So that's good news. Thank you for being patient. Alright, let's head out to get some tea, chat. Okay. We are out. Alright. So that's good news. Car is fine. So now we're going to walk over and get some tea and wait for them to finish up with everything. I'm glad to see it. Things you love to see. I mean, the thing is, I'm good about keeping it maintained. You know, I go for regular maintenance and everything. So, okay, that car right there, those Rivians those are the social status car of the day. Those things are expensive. If you look up what a Rivian costs, they are pricey. There's another one. These things are like 60,000 some odd dollars. And they're fine, but they just look like, you know, cars, but they become like the it thing, you know. All right. And what a lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. Look, it's Seattle. That's not true. Seattle is just, you know, gray and overcast 50% of the time. All right, now this time, this tea place I'm going to, I have brought no food with me, so I'm not going to get in trouble for even looking in the direction of my food bag. Morning. Just like an English breakfast. Sure. Would be good. Large, please.
You want to know what to say?
I might be leaving. I don't know when I'm leaving, so I guess just to go, just in case. Yeah, be on the safe side. And then can I get 2%? Yeah, back there, or? Thank you very much. No, it's much.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey, nonstop. Yes, I did. I did indeed. I mean, it's a relative term, right, Non? Like, I probably only got about 5 hours. So probably not as much as I should have. But it was worth it. You missed it, nonstop, and you went to bed. I did manage to defeat. I managed to get through that area. And I looked back this morning when I was charging up my phone before coming here. I did look back a little bit at that VOD, and I got lucky on a couple of ways. One, I managed to silence the Gigas, what's-his-face guy. I managed to silence him, which meant that he wasn't able to do one of his like badass Cyclops, summons, which does like lots of damage. So there's that. The second thing is that he was going to haul off and hit me with like a 260 hit point. Something would have put me. I wouldn't have died, but I would have been really close. But I shield parried it, and so that was huge, and that made it, like that really was important. And then I obviously just killed him just before all of like Agrius would have died, and I wouldn't have been able to. I can't lose Agrius, and so I lucked out a little bit. But I also tactically managed it well. I think that I figured out a couple things that I needed to do with it, and then the roof battle, which again, I remembered the Wiegraf battle into the underground battle with the Gigas. I remember those two, and I remembered it that the Gigas battle was super hard and the Wiegraf battle was, kind of medium hard. Instead, what we found out last night was that the Wiegraf battle was super hard, and the Gigas battle was, I got it first try. And then the roof battle right afterwards, I had forgotten about entirely that roof battle, and that roof battle was I did it on my second try, but that's honestly because the first try I literally didn't even have a chance to move. Like, the person I was supposed to protect went running right towards them, and then they just hit her 3 times, and then I lost. And I was like, I literally didn't even get a chance to move my people. The second time I did, and I was able to take them out, and so we're into chapter 4, which is the final chapter, but the final chapter is also well known for being the longest of the chapters, because there's all this other side quest stuff that I may do. So there was a part of me that was like, ooh, maybe we'll get this done before Metroid Prime 4 comes out. And maybe my ridiculous fever dream of I can do Metroid Prime 4. I think what will end up happening is that Metroid Prime 4 probably ends up happening in maybe January, and I have to decide if I'm going to think about the possibility of maybe asking Santa Claus for a Switch 2, you know what I mean? Maybe. Because I had my Switch 1 for years, and it's a really good console. But, man, the Metroid Prime, I love Metroid Prime, so I'm thinking about it. But my favorite game is still Final Fantasy Tactics, and so this has been an incredible amount of fun. So anyway, that's a long-winded way of saying probably not nonstop, but it was worth it. It was worth it. Just one more turn, Mom. Hey, Shatter. Good morning. How you doing, man? How are you, Shatter? How's life in the universe in the skies of blue, so to speak? Although it's not very blue skied around here today. It's getting the car fixed. Just sitting at breakfast in Seattle having a launch for Cincinnati. Yeah, just getting it's a 120,000 mile maintenance, but they just sent me a little video talking about it, and apparently the car's in pretty good shape. So that's good. Nothing. It should be, because I've been taking it regularly for maintenance, and it is a Toyota RAV4, and they have a rep for being good, So standard Seattle weather. Yeah, it's exactly you tell me, Shatter. Look at this. Seattle. It's not, but that's what it looks like by you, right? The power of Seattle weather. I was saying to someone that in the Northeast, this always reminds me of going to see my family in northern New Jersey, because we would usually go see them around the holidays. We would see them around Thanksgiving. So it always looked a little bit like this, like kind of gray, overcast. Leaves are mostly off the trees by then, and whatever. So this felt sort of vaguely nostalgic to me. But you know, that's the only thing about Seattle, man. I don't know that I'd want to deal with this kind of weather half the year. You know, like, it is a good, like, it's not true that they never have sun. They do. But definitely a lot of overcast, and I don't know that I don't mind this sometimes, but all the time, I don't know. So. Oh, shoot. Oopsie. Darn it. Gotta go get a napkin. Says the same thing. Did you say sadly? Would you want to live in Seattle if it were up to you, Shatter? You wouldn't mind? I mean, you know, my wife is from Seattle, as you know, so we have in-laws out there. You know, there's a lot to like about Seattle. I was just in Seattle a couple months ago. Nope. Hey, what's up, Imaginary? Wondered if I was going to see you today after stopping by and saying hello. Past time zones, yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah, it's work. Yeah, I hear that. They can be, but you know, the big thing for me has been figuring out boss is more difficult. Yeah, no kidding. Oh, that's good. Well, it's good to see you, man. You're technically going back to the future this month. That's right, because you're going back to Cincinnati. So you were moving backwards through time. That still kind of blew my mind when I flew to Australia. And I was in Australia talking to people who were a day behind me. Like, welcome to yesterday. It was I understood how it worked intellectually, but I'll tell you what, though, Imaginary, the problem with the time zones is the simultaneous stuff, right? So whenever I'm trying to schedule and I'm like getting players together for a campaign, like I'm doing this right now because I'm setting up players for a campaign that's launching in either January or February. And so I'm thinking about European-friendly hours, right? So I'm thinking about people in Europe, although even there are obviously different time zones in Europe, but at least they're in the ballpark, right? But I thought of this one person, I'm like, oh, that would be good, because they were in Western Canada. And I was like, wait, no, because England Europe is 6 to 7 hours ahead of us, right? So if I'm streaming at 12 o'clock my time, it's 6 o'clock their time, like say UK turn time. And then for this person I was thinking about in Western Canada, that's like 9 a.m. their time. So I can put it in a way that probably actually fits for everybody-ish, but I had to remember that they're actually 9 hours ahead for the West Coast Canada. And so that is all you know, I can't even imagine. Like when I used to play with Saad on D&D, who was from Australia, it was always his time frame was always strange, obviously relative to us. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. I also have to say I kind of like Eastern time zone better than Pacific time zone, which sounds weird, but in terms of things like sports, it feels like everything ends there at 8 o'clock. And I guess that's fine if you always want to be getting to bed at 8 o'clock. I am definitely more of a night owl, although that may change as I get older. I may end up shifting backwards a bit. I actually get up a lot earlier than I ever used to, but I think optimal for me would be getting up at if I could, separate from work requirements or whatever, if I could get up at 9 a.m. and then get to bed at 12:30, that would probably be pretty optimal. 12:30 or 1. So basically asleep by 1 a.m., up by 9 a.m., that would probably be pretty good if I didn't have anything to worry about in terms of getting kids up or work stuff or whatever. Oh God, really? Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Safe flight, Shattered. Good to see you, man. Yeah. Oh God, daylight savings time. You know what's amazing to me, Imaginary? Like, this is the thing. In America, there have been multiple attempts to change it because nobody likes it. Like, obviously, it's a holdover from the days when it was for agricultural reasons, but that is not an issue. That's not a thing anymore that people worry about. So it's like nobody likes it, but no one wants to change it still, or like nobody like has the will to change it. And I'm like, can we just stop? Like, just pick one. Like, we should be in standard time. This time right now is what we should always be in. Just stay there and let the days lighten and get longer over time, and that's fine. But the going back and forth, they have increased risks of heart attack when you fall forward, when you jump forward, and like, stop. Oh man. Yeah, so it's like you're looking at more like 11 p.m. bedtime, right, Triffin? Yeah. I would just like them to, again, I think everyone says the same thing, which is just pick one. Goddamn pick one, Okay, I'm going to take the tea bag out, chat. I'll be right back. I'm going to go tea bag. No, I'm just going to take the tea bag out. Okay. I am back. Scheduling something for 3 a.m. Oh, I agree about the scheduling tools thing. Yeah, I agree with that. The calendar, we have a public calendar for GOG streams, which is called what's it called? Stream it? I don't even remember what the actual name of it is. It's free to use, but that actually shows, and I think the calendar on my website also shows based on the time zone that you're from, I believe. So that's a little bit easier. But yeah, scheduling for something for 3 a.m. seems a little bit weird. And I do know some people that just use GMT. The problem, though, is that everyone that I deal with, in my work or my job, they'll always be Eastern, or they'll say this is for Pacific, but they'll specifically say Pacific time or whatever. Nobody uses GMT in America, and they should. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but nobody does that, and so it means that it's I'd have to reconfigure my brain quite a bit, which it's not like I can't do that. It's just I reconfigure my brain on a regular basis. So. What is What is it plus? What is it? GMT? I'm triggering a software developer. It does work for my calendar one. Is Ukraine time imaginary? Is that GMT plus 2? What is EET? Hey Echo. Eastern European time. But is Eastern European time, what is that icon? You have a skull icon? That's cool. Which is +1. But do you know what it is to GMT, Echo? It's +2. Okay. Hey, what's up, Zotera? +2 for me in Bulgaria. When it's 4 p.m. GMT, it's 6 p.m. my time. Okay, gotcha. Zytera, have we talked about... I'm sure we have, and if so, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Have we talked about the fact that I want to go to Bulgaria sometime? Imaginary knows that when the war is over, I want to go to Kyiv, I want to go to Ukraine at some point. But I would like to go to Bulgaria. I would love to go to a conference in Bulgaria because my father did a Fulbright scholarship and taught at the university, at Sofia University. And so I've always thought it would be cool to follow in his footsteps and see that a little bit. I don't know if you and I have talked about that and I'm forgetting, in which case I'm sorry. But yeah, okay. Right, and then Germany and the Netherlands are... They've got to be +1 also, right, Echo? That's what I thought. Yeah, okay. Schedule a European near trip. I'm trying... Listen, Imaginary, I would love to do that. I actually started working with my university to try to see if I could do teaching abroad, but it's been very hard and I've been absolutely overwhelmed with work to sort of make it more happen, but I'm still thinking about it. Yeah. Listen, again, it would be very cool to me. I don't know if you know about it, but there's a poet whose name is Petra Debarova, who is a very well-known Bulgarian poet, and my father was the first one to translate her into English. And she's a wonderful poet that I know was really special to a lot of students in Bulgaria. So anyway. It's true. Because I have been to Norway. I know. The pics of the hometown with the snow, I know. I had a good time in Norway. I would love to do we've talked about doing a band tour, Echo, but I would love to do some kind of I would love to do a combination book reading, signing / D&D sessions trip. Basically do one in Scandinavia, like Norway, do one in the UK, and possibly 2 places in the UK, like a couple of castles. Do one in Eastern Europe. I would love to do that. Yeah. But the thing is, to do it, though, I would need funding. I would probably want to bring my family, because but again, I would need funding. And I would need players in every one of those towns, and I'd need a venue. See, the thing is, you need a venue to be able to do it in front of a live audience, and then can you get a live audience? It's not easy to get an audience for these things when you don't have direct connections there. Even when you do have direct connections, can those people bring out audiences? So I've thought about it quite a bit, and I've done a number of live events now, but I would love to be able to do something like that. And basically, Belgium, Germany, Bulgaria, England, and maybe Wales instead of England, because I've been to England already, but maybe. France, maybe Spain, maybe Greece. Can you imagine? I bet this wouldn't happen. Do you think if I talked to Big Boss, he could work some magic? Can you imagine doing they would never let us do this, but can you imagine a D&D event in the Theater of Dionysus where they staged Oedipus 2,000 years ago? Can you imagine a D&D event on the side of the Acropolis? The Culture Hall, the Culture Center. What's the technology there, Echo? Are there computers that you can show Roll20 stuff? Yeah. I would actually, and I talked to you about this, Imaginary, also. I would be honored to be able to do a reading slash event, like Dungeons and Dragons event or whatever, in Kyiv. That would be an honor. That would be an honor. Like, again, logistically, I don't know, but that would be an honor. Straight up would. It would be interesting too if it were done as a kind of like, it's not like Ukraine needs awareness, because like everyone is aware of the disastrous war right now, but like something, I don't know, sort of a statement of cultural defiance. Do you know what I mean? Like, the military defiance has been obvious, but a statement of the cultural defiance, a statement of Ukraine's clear, obvious own cultural identity, you know? I hear that echo, yeah. Oh no, okay, there we go. I almost lost my chat, there we go. Complexity level 14 out of 10, yeah. Well, but I'm not going to give up on the concept though, Imaginary. Like, I know that the Ukrainian government is really interested in maintaining cultural interests for a variety of reasons, in terms of, like, again, visibility and all that stuff. So yeah, there you go, Echo. Well, what's funny about that, Echo, is that one of the people in the road, kind of my main the guy who really is the second part of the road right now, is Zach. And obviously Zach could have both of that covered, right? D&D and otherwise. That would be pretty sweet. I got to think about how to do it. But again, funding. And it can't just be funding for just the venue. It has to be funding. It has to be enough funding for transit. It has to be enough funding, because you can't, and you got to get enough to get 4 players there. Now, if it's just me and one other person plus my family, but like as far as players are concerned, traveling from place to place, and we're just picking up players in the different places that we go. So we go to Norway, and like, I don't know if Echo, maybe some D&D players in Norway, I don't know, but I'm joking. But like, so people there, people in England, obviously, like I went, stuff like that. That would be doable as far as the players are concerned, I think. But again, it would be about the venue, and it would be about getting an audience, because that's the thing, right? If you can get an audience for these things, if you can get a venue that like seats 75 people, but you can put 60 people in the seats, I'd rather have that than a venue that seats like 500, but you can still only get that same 60 people. You know what I mean? Like, a full house really is awesome in terms of the vibe and the energy and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I still have thoughts about ways to do this and different possibilities. And obviously, it would be, selfishly good for my career as I continue with my writing career and have manuscripts up to different people. And oh man, I'll tell you what, chat. I'm right on the edge of like, there's like 2 or 3 different projects that are right there to getting picked up, like right there, and I just want to land one of those planes. Like, I feel I have, like I said, the metaphor is I have all these planes in the air, and I want to land a couple of them, and I'm like right there, and I'm like, come, just get the rest of the way, when it comes to writing / the D&D stuff globally. So, I don't know, fingers crossed. I am always optimistic, but man. Oh, that's definitely true. Yes, I did. Thank you for making the connection, Echo. Yes, I did give him the address, and he said he would be sending it out. So yes, I did. Thank you. Yeah, man. It's just like the European D&D tour, man. And then I could do at some point an Australia D&D tour, like Australia and New Zealand, like Pacific, like I don't know what they would call that, Southern Pacific Rim tour or something like that. Outlaws. Yeah, I heard that. I have only played a little bit of the original Outlaws, and I didn't play a whole lot of it. But yeah, D&D Down Under. Listen, I would straight up. There was a chance we were going to do this when I was doing Adventures Middle Earth. There was a chance that we were going to actually have all of the players, because some of us are going to be there anyway, go to Worldcon in New Zealand, and we were thinking about doing a D&D event like from a Hobbit house or whatever. Like, I was like, oh my god. But then COVID, and so that went all virtual, and like, so the whole thing kind of fell apart. But would still at some point love to do that. Oh, that's cool. So yeah, that's where it's at. We need the European D&D tour, we need the Australian D&D tour, Australian New Zealand D&D tour, we need the Canadian D&D tour, maybe the South American D&D tour, like Brazil, I don't know, Peru. I'm trying to think of like what would be good spots there. But again, I need connections, then come back into the States. But I need, right, and that's true actually. Like, there are a lot of places. I have not done a D&D event out west yet. Well, that's not true. No, I haven't done one yet, but I have not done a D&D. I've done conferences out west, but I have not done a D&D event live from like LA or the Bay Area or Seattle or Portland, you know. I haven't done one from Chicago. I haven't done one from the Midwest either. Well, that's not true. I've done Gen Con events in Indiana, which is Midwest. Hillness would be mad at me. That I have done Indiana Con. I've done several live events there, but that's a little different. Ooh. Yeah. 2D20s, blue and yellow, standing with Ukraine. Nice, Gaia Shield. You're pretty far east from Midwest. Yeah, I just didn't, I don't want to forget about Indiana. That is a cool idea, though, Echo. I have to say, that's a very cool idea for sure. I don't know. It's probably impossible logistically. But I'm telling you, Imaginary, if you ever catch sight, let me put it this way. If there's ever anything where the government, where the Ukrainian government is like, if the Ukrainian government is like, we're looking for cultural events that we would host at this or that or the other or whatever, like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, if you ever hear about anything like that, please, like, let me know, because it would be interesting. I know that it's impossible now, probably, but like at the moment. But just don't let that drift completely, because. Oh, well, listen, Trivid. If Edmonton wins the bid in 2030, I really hope I can convince them to do a D&D event there, because I think I may know somebody who's involved with it. You know what I'm saying? Montreal 2027 Worldcon, sure. I actually just filled out the survey for LA Worldcon. I would love to do. I'd love to do a D&D event at those places. Yeah, I like doing those live events as long as we have as long as we have an audience, and as long as we have a place that's like. It doesn't even need to be big technologically. Like, if you got a projector, Call up Rob. Yeah, he joined me. Yeah, I know he does. Rob would want me to do a D&D event from Reykjavik, probably, because Rob's all about. He goes to Iceland every other day. I appreciate that, Gaia Shield. Thank you. That's very kind of you. That's very kind of you. No, and you know how I'm very passionate about how, obviously, I believe this about my writing as well, but how teaching, writing, and obviously game playing, I think all have like really important, significant things in terms of community. And those events are big time events. Like big time, I mean in terms of being able to do that, like building community. It was really special being in London last year for that event. That was really special. and that was not a big audience. But I love having the bigger audiences just because it's so much excitement and stuff. But either way. I hear you. Totally imaginary. Yeah, imaginary for sure. I'm not trying to give you homework. I'm just saying, it's one of those things, but of course. Do they really, Triffid? I need to figure out. I mean, I've been thinking about LACon because that's the next one. But Montreal is going to be returned to full circle for me because the first Worldcon I ever went to was 2009. 2009 anticipation when it was held in Montreal, and so I'll be returning. I hope, assuming they'll have me. I hope they will. That's true. That's true, Echo. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, LACon will be interesting. They all use a similar program now. So when I got the actual form, I was able to do some cutting pasting from my last one because I don't have to retype everything when some of this stuff is the same. But also I obviously have a lot of tweaks that I had to make because of when I filled out the Planorama thing for Chicago, which was a few years ago. That was before the Grey Assassin trilogy was finished. It was before, I guess it was just after Tales and Tomes had come out. And so, you just walk behind and spray a hose on me. I would do a guy show that could be like LeBron James in the NBA, where he does this stuff with the hands. He puts the chalk in his hands and he does this. I could just do that. You could just be spraying water on me before an event, and I just take a fistful of dice. I'm like, and everyone's like, ooh, what did I forget? You know what would be awesome, by the way? If we could do a D&D event in Belgium, I wonder if I could do it at the Tintin Museum. There's an Hergé museum in Belgium. Oh man, I wonder if they have a place to do that. Oh, face painting, yeah. Oh yeah, she'd be all over that. You kidding me? She, by the way, Echo. So she's applying to U.S. colleges right now. So she's applied to 15 schools, and so far she's 2 for 2. It's very early to start hearing back, but she's heard back from 2 of them already, which were both yeses. Those were not the ones that were the very top of her list, but they were early on. So yeah, well, it's a little easier now than it used to be because a lot of them use what's called the Common App. So you fill out information and it goes to all of these schools differently. But yeah, she got into Central Connecticut and she got into Manhattan University. And as I say, those were not top of her list, but she's waiting to hear from some of those ones. Fairfield is at the top of her list. UConn is at the top of her list. Vassar is at the top of her list. So we'll see. But yeah, so very exciting. In fact, today she is doing an interview, a virtual interview at Quinnipiac, which is in Connecticut. Yeah. And actually, it's funny, Echo, is that Manhattan University is actually not in Manhattan. It's in the Bronx. When they first built it, it was called Manhattan College, and it started in Manhattan, and then it moved up to the Bronx where there was more space, but they kept the name. So Manhattan, what used to be college and is now called university, is in the Bronx. But it's actually right next to where we used to live. We lived for 13, 14 years in an area of the Bronx called Riverdale, and that's where Manhattan College is. So, hey, Prince Justin. Prince Justin, I don't know whether we should actually be noticing that you're here or not, but I did want to say that, we were talking about D&D tours and things like that. And Triffid did mention something about, Edmonton. So I just wanted to say, I don't know if you have any sway with these people, but if Edmonton does win the bid, if a D&D event could happen in Edmonton, I'm just saying. Wait, you're a member of the bid committee? I had no idea. I know. I mean, you know I know that. Oh my God, that's so funny. Prince Justin, by the way, DM for the 13th Icon, new campaign coming in January. Be there or be square. And I think you saw that Shadowed Mage dropped you a line on Discord, Prince Justin, also about overlays, and also about might even be able to help you as well with the whole like streaming production angle, like giving you suggestions about how to do it, because that's what he's been doing. So, Prince Justin. North Carolina. You know what, Guy Shield? I don't know if you're down in that area, but like a good place to do this is like universities. So like UNC Chapel Hill, NC State, you know what I mean? Like places like that. Charlotte is North Carolina or South Carolina? Is Charlotte South Carolina? All of a sudden my geography has failed me. Is Charlotte North or South? Greensboro is South Carolina, because I did a conference there. Charlotte is North Carolina, right? Okay. So, University of Charlotte. Okay. Yeah, North Carolina. Yeah. So anyway, universities are a great place for this. You know, I kind of love me some universities anyway, so. Due to birth state. Yeah. No, I mean, like I say, there are some states that I wish I could do events, and I probably can't right now because of the situation, like Florida, Texas. But, you know, that doesn't have to always be the case. Depends on how things go over the next few years. But obviously, you know, California, Illinois. North Carolina, though, is fine. North Carolina is not, I don't have that same problem with North Carolina, because North Carolina is like, has made some inroads towards sanity, a lot of them actually. So, but anyway, yeah, so for those of you who missed it, we were talking about if I could ever get the funding together for basically a D&D tour, and there would be 3 elements to it. The first of the D&D tours would be Europe, so like Norway or Scandinavia generally, Belgium, Germany, the UK, maybe France and Spain, and then possibly Bulgaria and Greece. And I was doing this fever dream thing about doing a D&D event from the Theater of Dionysus, and I was kind of like, you know. Anyways, there's that. The second one is like an Australia-New Zealand leg. So Australia-New Zealand con, or Australia-New Zealand D&D, would be pretty badass. And then the third one would be like a Canadian D&D thing. That's where Montreal and Edmonton came up. And then there was also maybe like South America, and of course the States, the United States, where I haven't been. UNC Greensboro. Yeah, I did a conference in UNC Greensboro actually. Triffid Green. That was UNC Greensboro was really pretty too, as I recall. Never been to Asheville or Wilmington, but that's pretty cool. What it is like, it's about assembling like audience and people together and then figuring out funding. That's always the thing. But like, you know, other than that, I think we put on good events, and I can get, you know, I would just have to find good players wherever we go, but I think we could do that. It's definitely something that I've thought about and would like to do more of, especially if I could tie it in with some like writing. Like I was talking about this last night, but I had this Blue Sky post of mine go viral a couple days ago about they're thinking about doing a Shakespeare's Globe Lego set, and it's amazing. So I basically just said, oh my God, you know what to do, Blue Sky? That is blown up. Like 140 reposts, 300 likes, 45 quotes, like that is blown up. And I was like, you know, so I've thought quite a bit about, you know, being able to do something along the lines of writing. Obviously, it would be helpful for me personally, professionally in my career, and then obviously D&D. And if you add those things together, writing, D&D, or like tabletop game, you know, like I could run a one shot of, you know, I have a couple of new systems that I've been looking at, like Riverbank, Humblewood, that I've been thinking about as possibilities, as again one shots mostly, you know, so. Wilmington has a seizable gaming community. That would be what? Carpe. Where are my Latinates at? What would be community? Carpe sees the Carpe communitatis. Is that is that communitatis carpe? Carpe communitatis. Sounds like miscommunication. Oh, something Espanol. Well, yeah. I am not I do not have little Latin and less Greek, right? Is that the old phrase? Totally, Gaia Shield. I agree. Anything that has the arts or gaming, and often those things overlap. That's one thing that's been fun doing the college visits with Little Larv, has been to sort of be on these campuses where there's all this cool stuff going on, and it's like, it's one reason that I love college campuses. I've been teaching on one myself for many years, is that there is such a connection of like intellectual, artistic, the energy of young people that sort of infuse such a place. It's great stuff. Yes, this is just a mileage thing, Echo. It's a big one, though. It's 120,000 miles, so it's a big one. But I got the notice from them that said that the car looks in pretty good shape, so they're just doing what they need to do. And then I'm going to be picking up my daughter. In fact, I'll probably be cutting stream pretty soon, because I'll have to get ready to be able to go pick up the car and then pick up my daughter. But Carpe communum. Oh. So, but what would the gaming side be? And you're totally right about that, Guy Shield, by the way. Getting outside to look at nature is a good way to get past any block you might experiencing. I found you might experience. So what would be Carpe? Would it be Carpe communum, and then what would gaming be? Like, I guess it would be play? God, my Latin is so non-existent. Carpe alia. So would it be Carpe alia communum? That's it, Trivid. We all get T-shirts. Carpe alia communum. And everyone's like, what does that mean? You're like, seize the gaming community. Oh, Carpe et alia. So it would be Carpe communum et alia? Is that, or would it be Carpe communum et alia? Yeah. Carpe communum et alia. That's what it's all about. Yeah, I mean, like, the thing about Latin is that it's the foundation for so many of our languages, that understanding it gives sort of this sort of root. Plus, it just makes you sound awesome, also. I could say, seize the gaming community, or I could say, Carpe communum et alia. The first one, everyone's like, what? The second one's everyone's like, tell me more. Carpe communum et alia. And they're like, it's like in a chess match when you make a move that, like, you don't fully understand what you're doing, so the other person doesn't either. And you do this move, and they're like, you know, and then they're like staring at the board. They're like, what is he? And internally, they're like, what the hell is this? Alia iacta est. Would it be and it's iacta, like Y, right? Alia iacta est. The die is cast. Julius Caesar upon crossing the Rubicon. Yep. Right. Well, no, they stare at it and they're like, the frick is this guy doing, right? Like that. And of course, meanwhile, I'm on that side being like, I don't know what I just did. I always found that when I played chess with people, like when I did a regular move, they were always like, but when I did some ridiculous move and I'm like, I don't know what the hell here, then they were always like, you know, and they were always like, what secret trap are you setting? It's the freaking West European defense made famous by Bobby Fischer's half-brother who lived in, Antarctica or something like, it's just like, what is this weirdo system? I think it's always because they were like, the true answer was that I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But what they always like is, what is he setting up? He's doing something. And I'm like, yes, I'm trying to figure out how to play a game. I was always more of a backgammon guy than a chess guy, I have to say. Because there was something about my mind that didn't keep up with all the abstractions, where people would be like, oh yeah, I can think 8 moves ahead, and after about the 3rd move ahead, I'm like, brain does not want to think this through. Yeah. Right. Well, it's the wing it and hope strategy that makes people go. That's the key, because you never say you're winging it, right? Like, you don't do it and go like, I don't know what the hell this move is. Instead, you do like confidently, move my knight over there, and they're like, yes, that's a good one, Triffid. That's a very chess Spock. Poker, yes, poker, from the Corbomite maneuver. And the funny thing is, you're hiding a strategy, like, yeah, exactly. You're like, I don't know what I was doing. Another example of that, Triffid, a lot of people talk in baseball about the term of a pitcher being, quote, conveniently wild. And that is that if the pitcher doesn't know exactly, or gives the impression that they don't know exactly where the ball is going when they pitch it, the batter's not going to go either. So the batter's not going to know either. So the batter's like, are you going to hit me in the head? Are you going to, like, throw it at my foot? What are you doing? And if the pitcher's like, I don't know what I'm doing, then, conveniently wild, they call that. There's the classic example of Randy Johnson. I don't know if you've ever seen this video. Randy Johnson was a tall, power-throwing left-handed pitcher for the Seattle Mariners, who later on pitched for the Yankees. And there was a time when he threw a pitch, and he killed a pigeon, because the pigeon happened to be the pigeon was flying across just as he threw the pitch, so that 1 in a million chance, his pitch literally hit the pigeon, and the pigeon just exploded. And like, the batter was like, it's like, and Randy Johnson himself was like, and of course the pigeon was exploded. Hit the bull, says the coach. Yep. Yeah. And there's another one, a famous one, where Randy Johnson lost control of a pitch and threw it over John Kruk's head. And he routinely threw it, 100. You don't want to be hit by a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Ever. But, everybody knew about the exploding bird. So then you really didn't want to get hit by a pitch of his. Isn't that somewhat the theory behind the drunken master style of Kung Fu? Right? Like, the person is unpredictable and sort of like kind of falling around, but actually they sort of understand what they're doing, but not really. It's within certain parameters, but the other people certainly don't know what they're doing, Oh, gosh. All right, well, I think, chat, I'm going to call it, because my car should be ready pretty soon, and I should try to get a bit of work done before I pick it up. But this has been a pleasure. It's been fun to hang out with you folks, as always, and I hope you enjoyed our car breakfast stream that we do. But don't forget to do all the things. Follow the channel. Check out the YouTube, !ARPTube. Yes, same, Gaia. And always a pleasure to be with you, lovely folks. And I will catch you folks, remember, Saturday night we should be doing some D&D with viewers. There is an outside chance I'm going to play more Final Fantasy Tactics because I love that game so much that I kind of want to keep playing it. So maybe. But regardless, we'll be on Saturday night, and then I'll be at PAX Unplugged on Sunday. Remember, if you're at PAX Unplugged in the Philadelphia area, definitely come on Sunday because Brandon is going to be demoing Greyshade there. So please do that. I'm going to be there on Sunday myself, so you can kind of hang out with me and him. And otherwise, I will be back on Tuesday with Patreon Field Checho's Game of the Month, which is Dispatch. Sunday. Dispatch, and then more Strange Antiquities, maybe closing out Strange Antiquities on GOG. And then remember, this Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, I've got a special writing event happening. Myself and Valerie Valdez and Premi Muhammad and Brandon Crilly talking about writing in Canada and America. So basically publishing in America and Canada. So we'll be having a writing discussion Tuesday night as well. So it will be a good time. All right. So lovely. That's awesome, guy. All right, folks, that's going to do it for me. So thanks, everyone. Have a lovely rest of your day Friday, and I'll see you folks on Saturday night. Thanks all. Bye-bye. Be good to each other.